Hey everyone, Player Sam. Welcome to part 1 of our Revell 125th 71 Oldsmobile 442 video build. So yes, as I say, this is a build. I bought this a while back. It actually came damaged from Amazon. It was delivered in a bloody brown paper bag. All the box was crushed, and we know Revell boxes aren't the strongest of boxes. Revell Germany anyway. And all the A-pillars were crushed. One was snapped, and we complained. And I actually got a refund for it. When I looked at it closer, I could actually repair it. Not perfectly, but repair it enough that it was a usable kit to build. So here we are. I thought, you know what? I'm going to build that kit. So that's where we are today. It's a buddy build with Joe Camera Larry, who's building a 69 AMT kit. Mine's a 71. A little bit of a difference in the kit. And I got inspiration for this build from a picture I found online of one in Matador red, black stripes, really nice wheels, and that's my inspiration for this and what we're going to try and do. So we're going to start the video with a quick look through the box, a little bit of a chat about what's in there, and then crack on and start the build. So let's go. Okay then, so the 125th Revell Oldsmobile 442. Now, I believe this kit is a 2009 chassis, running gear, etc. of a 2020 body shell, glass and interior. So basically, they've updated the older kit. From what it looks immaculately molded, very nice, precise molded, no flash in there, no mismolds. Everything looks great on it. Nice kit, plenty of parts in there, and plenty to keep you busy. So it's got a really nice body shell that needs minimal cleanup. There's a few seam lines on there, nothing really annoying as such. We've got a choice of different differentials and gearboxes, depending whether you go manual or auto. All the parts are beautifully molded, really, really crisp. The chrome is really good. It's just a shame that the mounting points wreck it all again. It just really is a shame. If those mounting points weren't there, you could satin coat that and use that quite happily. It's a real shame. Chassis, really well cast, well molded should we say, and looks to be the part. And I say they are stamped. I think the chassis is stamped 2009, and I believe the body etc. is 2020. Two sets of pedals, two center consoles, all depending whether you go auto or manual. You've got the radiator, the bulkhead, firewall, etc. The fan shroud, the interior tub as well, and the inner wheel arches. Wheels there as well. One set of wheels in this, even though there's two back hubs. Door cards, seats and seat backs. And then smaller parts with some suspension components on there. Prop shaft, drive shaft, whatever you want to call it. Auxiliary belts, some belts for the engine, some ancillary parts for the engine, including the cooling fan. We've got the engine parts there, the rocker covers, cam covers, air cleaners, etc. Two different transmissions, like I say, for auto and manual. The main block of the engine and gearbox. Tonneau cover, which is for the convertible car. We won't be using that on this one. And the sun visors in there as well. And the tyres on their usual cross tree that's pretty synonymous with Revell. Clear parts are nice, really nice and clear, well molded. Decals, fantastic. Loads of options on the decals, including some very, very nice wood effect decals, which do enhance the interior of the cockpit. And white or black trim decals, which again, really nice decals. They went down no problem at all. And a really nice decal sheet there. I'm not going to use them all, but we'll certainly use the ones that we require. Instructions with the newer Revell type, which are very, very good. Colour callouts are at the front. Start off with engine. There's all the parts layout there as well. So plenty of sprues in the kit, like I say. You're not going to use some of the parts, but there's more enough to keep you interested and busy. Engine, a lot of parts of the engine, really nice. Nice interior as well. It's just an all-round, really nice kit this. Highly recommended. And nothing was an issue on this at all. Obviously, I finished the kit now, so we can talk about it. And like I say, no real issues with the kit. It just went together pretty flawlessly. We're going to build it pretty much out the box. We're going to add a gopher distributor and leads. We're going to flock the carpet. We're going to change the wheels up on this as well, as become apparent a little bit later on. But other than that, it's pretty much out the box, and we're not going to have any problems with it at all. Nice, clear, concise instructions. Layout there for the decals, so you can clearly see where they go as well. Really nice decals, and there we go. So onto the kit. We'll start with kit cleanup. So lots of parts to clean up. We're going to start with the main body components. We're going to get the bonnet off, all the door mirrors and things. Anything that needs to be body coloured is going to be cut off and cleaned up and mounted, ready for primer. So we've got our UMP thinny sticks here, sanding down the parts. A quick test fit of the bonnet. Fits absolutely beautiful. No issues there at all. It's like a glove. We've got this rear spoiler, which I was going to use pretty much across the entire length of the build till I test fitted at the end and just didn't like the look of it. Just ruined the flow of the kit. But needless to say, we still glued it all together as per the instructions. It does go around the opposite way than you think this, so refer to the instructions and get it all assembled the correct way. A quick test fit of the rear bumper fits again like a glove. Such a shame we've got to dechrome it, but when you put your mounting points in the worst possible place, that's what needs to be done. With all the parts cleaned up, we're going to go around with a 3000 grit Tamiya sponge and key all the parts for primer. So basically, go around and get it to a nice uniform matte surface. Introduced thousands, hundreds and thousands of micro abrasions to the surface to help the primer stick. And on the body, we've got a seam line from front to back. Some of it's hidden in the panel lines. Where it's not, we're going to hit it with a 220 large UMP sander and just sand it away gently until it's gone. Not adding a lot of pressure here. We don't reprofile the parts, but we do need to get rid of those seam lines. So it's a good half an hour of work. Check, double check, and check again until it's all gone. So like I say, if you pay attention, it will run from front to back each side. So you need to just keep an eye on it. Look for them where they're hidden, look for them where they're not, and gently sand them away until they're gone. So it could be a bit laborious, but trust me, take your time here. It's well spent. Cleanup here pays off because you get to the primer stage, realise something's not quite right, have to come back and resand it all again. Now we're going to rescribe the body. Panel lines are really good, but it's just got as a matter of course now in all the kits that I just very lightly rescribe the door shuts and the panel lines. That way we know we're going to hold a wash well and we'll have no issues further down the line or with the panel lines filling in. So we've got my Holly, I think it's a 0.2mm scriber. We're going to gently and carefully follow the pre-existing panel lines and just deepen them and clean them out a little bit more. And like I say, it's just a step of doing every kit now. Plastic or resin. As long as you take your time, don't slip. Which is why I like this Holly one, because you've got much more control with being literally at your fingertips. Just gently rescribe until you're happy. Once we're happy, we're going to key it up again with a 3000 Tamiya grit sponge sander. Literally going around. That way we'll get rid of any blemishes on the plastic, any nasties that might have stuck there, any glue that might have got on there, and just go around and give it a nice keyed uniform surface for priming. Just take your time. You literally angle the light and you can see where it needs doing. And wipe off your sander periodically. I just wipe it on my trouser leg. Does the job perfect. And again, not applying loads of pressure. We don't want to lose any detail. We just want to key the plastic until it's a nice, even, dulled finish all over. And that way, we know it's been done properly. We know it's going to handle our primer great. The more micro abrasions you put in the finish, the more the primer will stick. It's got so much more surface area to grip to. So just be thorough, go around it all until you're happy that it's all even and consistent. Once we've keyed all the surface, we can get our toothbrush in to get rid of any nooks and crannies, any dust in there in the panel lines. Then we've got our Pro Scale pre-paint degreaser on a clean piece of tissue. I'm just going to gently wipe all over the body to remove any fingerprints, residue from contaminants or maybe your Cheeto crisps and what have you. Just wipe over the body so we get a nice clean surface. Same with the bonnet as well. And that way we know we've got a nicely keyed surface for paint and a degrease surface as well. So we're doing the best we can here with the prep. Pink primer. This is Pro Scale pink primer. We're about 2 coats in. This is the final coat. We're going through my Iwata CR3 0.35 Revolution. And this, like I say, this is our third coat. We've done a couple of crisscross, couple of up and down. And this will be probably we'll do one more coat after this and just get a nice uniform pink primer surface. Now, we plan on painting red on this, so pink is the ideal primer colour. I always find it makes the reds pop more, a lot more vibrant. And of course, we're doing the wing mirrors, the spoiler, the bonnet, all separately as well as we go through. Make sure for every coat of paint you do on one part, you do on another, so you keep the paint consistently even. Once that's dry for a while, we can come in with our 3000 grit Tamiya sponge again. This is like the Swiss Army of sanding tools, this one. I use this all the way through the prep, all the way through the paint, and I've had this piece of sander now for months now, and this is all I use it for. And all we're going to do is lightly go around, exactly like we did on the bare body. We're just going to key the primer, and we're not trying to sand through, we're just literally trying to take off the very top layer of primer. And that way we get rid of any high spots where the airbrush may have spat, any dust that might have landed in there, and just generally smoothing out the primer itself. And that way we'll get a much better finish off the paint. Like I say, let it dry for a few hours before you do this, and then let it dry overnight. We've got our Pro Scale General Motors Matador Red, my Iwata CR3 for about 18 psi, and we're going to put on 6 to 8 coats of Matador Red. We're going to start with a side-to-side motion and then go up and down on alternating passes. We're going to paint all the other parts each time as well, so we keep the coats even. I've got my Badger paint mixer in there to mix it all up thoroughly. I'll give it a good shake as well, but I think the Badger paint mixer does probably one of the best jobs of mixing paint up myself. So we give it a quick whiz around. There we go. Give the model a dust over our anti-static brush and a blow over the airbrush. And here we go, coat number 1. Now we don't want to put this on thick. We just want to get nice, smooth, even, consistent coat. So we're not going for full coverage on the first coat at all. The slower we do this and build it up, the deeper and more beautiful paintwork we'll have. And I think my paintwork always speaks for itself. I will toot my own horn there. I know my paintwork is good. So this is about the most we will do for our first coat. And we're going to do that all around the model. I sped it up a touch, just so you can see what's going on, but we don't need to put it on. Don't hose it on. There's no benefit. Our paint does not need to go on wet. It's completely counterproductive to do that. The clear coat will provide our gloss. There is no need to hose the paint on. Do it like this and just build it up slowly. Let it dry between coats. Give it 5 minutes to flash off before we put another coat on, and you'll end up with much deeper, more vibrant paint jobs. Trust me, I've been doing this long enough to know. There's no rush in the paint, and this is going to take me probably a couple of hours to do, maybe an hour and a half of a coat. Let it dry for 5 or 10 minutes, then come back and another coat. And I will apply 7 to 8 very light coats, just building it up nicely. As you can see, not hosing it on at all. Not trying to get complete coverage on the first pass, just being consistent and getting a nice even coat everywhere. That is the key here. Don't worry about getting the coverage. The coverage will come with each and every coat. And if you let it dry, the next coat will cover a lot better. And like I say, if you've got other parts like the bonnet, the spoiler, the wing mirrors, make sure you put their coats on at the same time so they all get the same number of coats. And that way, the colour stays the same. I've seen many models before built where the bonnet and the mirrors are completely different colours to the car body because it was done separately. So every time you put a coat on the car body, put a coat on these parts as well. Just bear in mind these are smaller parts. They cover a lot quicker, so they really don't need to be hosed on with paint. Just bear that in mind and put the paint down a bit more purposeful on the smaller parts. So there we go. This is our first coat done. That can sit for 10 minutes and flash off. I would say we're probably coat number 4 in now on that one, I would say. As you see, that red has got some nice depth to it already. And as I say, we're going side to side on one pass. The next one we're going up and down. And that way we're getting all the nooks and crannies, all the panel lines, the door shuts, everywhere. And get everywhere nice and evenly covered. And like I say, we're also going through all the separate parts and painting those as well. Right, here we go, final coat. I reckon this is about coat number 8. And look at the depth of that paint. Absolutely beautiful. We're not hosing the paint on. We're just taking our time building it up. Make sure you get all those bonnet shuts, all the bonnet everywhere. Just get the red paint in every nook and cranny, underneath, along the sills, everywhere. And just build it up nice and slow. I like the Iwata airbrushes because they atomize the paint a bit finer. And not only does it make it more frugal on paint, but it just puts a thinner coat down. And that way, you're not hosing it on. and you get better coverage. Trust me, you get much better coverage putting several thinner coats down than one or two thicker ones. You just get a deeper colour. Combine that with our great paints, the great pink primer, and the level of depth we get off this red. You'll see at the end, it looks absolutely phenomenal. It looks brilliant. Any excess paint we don't use, pop back in the thing. Always give your bottle, your rim, a good wipe, because nobody likes a crusty rim. So let that flash off and dry. It's probably dried overnight now. It's the following day, I think. We need to go and mask all the window surrounds and all the trim. They're going to be painted chrome. So using our Tamiya 1, 2, 3, 6, 10 and 18 mil tapes to mask these off. Again, a bit of a tedious job, but again, the time you spend here, the better job you do, the better it will look. And trust me, there's no rush in this. This is a hobby. For me, it's a job, but for you guys out there, it's a hobby. It should be enjoyable. It should be time spent to pass the time, hence the old term pastime. So there's no rush, and obviously the better you do here, the neater it will look. You can see here I've got my tweezers, and I'm just very gently getting the tape into position, and I'll burnish it down with a cotton bud and move on to the next bit. Like I say, if you're not happy, peel the tape off, start again, and away you go. Make sure you de-tack all your tape, put it on the back of your hand, take the tackiness off. Like I say, just enjoy it. Modelling is a hobby. It's supposed to be enjoyable. It's not a rush. Don't compare your work to others. Model for yourself. And just enjoy the journey. Lots to do on this. We've got all the windows, front to rear. We've got the side arches. We've got the marker lights on the side as well. There's quite a lot to do in this that's chrome. So it's a few hours done. And here we are, a few hours later. Like I say, important step, de-tack all the tape. Make sure you put it on the back of your hand or your forehead's a good one. You look a bit crazy doing it, but it's probably one of the best ways to de-tack tape is put it on your forehead. Just don't forget it's there and pop down to the shops, wherever you do. Don't go to the local supermarket or the 7-Eleven. In the booth, we've got Mr. Hobby Super Metal Duraluminum. We've got our Iwata CR3, which is my general purpose brush for painting car bodies and metallics. Tends to be the one I use a lot of the time now. I'm just going to go around and again put several coats down, not doing heavy coats, just building up nice and slow, getting all the angles, all the recesses, and taking our time to build up nice and slow. The Mr. Hobby Super Metallics are phenomenal paints, so finely pigmented. But I think next time I'm going to try one of my own pro scale paints and see what it looks like. Out of sheer curiosity, just to see what it looks like under the 2K. Like I said, we've got all the wheel arch surrounds as well, and the marker lights on the side to do. So yeah, another half hour of painting, probably 20 minutes. Just put a coat down, let it flash off, come back 5 minutes later, put another coat down. And we probably took about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes doing this with 3 coats. If you take your time, let it flash off a bit more, you can wait a bit longer. There's no time frame there. And there we go. With the final coat on, we are looking good. Tedious to mask, but once we unmask it, you'll see it was time well spent. And the 2K won't dull this finish at all, which is part of the reason why I do it. But I will, on the next car, most probably try and use our bright aluminium and see how that looks under 2K. There we go. I've got the tape off. We've literally got half a ton of tape there. Just going around and wiping any residue off left behind by the tape. If you need to, just moisten the tissue. Don't lick it though. And just gently wipe over where the residue is, and you'll find it more than likely comes straight off. If you do find you've got any bleed through of paint, just gently sand it back over UMP buffer, and that should do the job in getting rid of it as well. If you can hear any birds whistling and singing, it's because my door's open. It's a nice day here in the UK, so my cave door is open while I'm doing this voiceover. So it's not an aviary outside, it's just wild birds. Decals. Now, I've opted for the black stripes on this. I thought it would look much better. If you saw my social media, you will have seen my inspirational picture that I found of the car I wanted to try and emulate. And that was bright Matador red with black stripes. So that's the reason why we're going for this. So we put them in our hot water, warm water on a coffee warmer. 10 seconds or so, take them out, let them soak for a second, wet the surface, pop them down, get all the moisture out from behind and make sure they're positioned in the right place. Then we'll hit them with the Ultimate Modeling decal solutions to set them in place. And that's it. And then, like I said, the most important bit is get the moisture out from behind the decal. Make sure it's in the correct place. There we go. Once you're happy it's in the correct place, hit it with the decal solutions. We'll start with the normal there. And we'll work our way up to the strong and extra strong for a very last go over. Side stripes, these are a bit more difficult. These are a bit more of an awkward shape to do. So my advice would be put them in the water, get them moist, take them out, and then slide them off as I've got there now. Slide it off the backing paper in place. I found that a lot easier, and there you go. And then position it all by hand, get it around the wheel arch, get it in the right place, and once you're happy, hit it with your cotton bud, get the moisture off behind it, and then hit it with the decal solution and get it set in place. So tricky ones to do, they are quite tricky to line up. You've got 3 decals on the side. They all need to line up. So I found to do the front and the back and then get the center on while everything was still wet. So we're just going to lightly set the decal down. We're not going to put the decal solutions on it just yet. But we're just getting the moisture out so it doesn't move around if I knock it. And then we're going to pop the other decals on as well. And there we go, got everything on. Lined up, the center stripe lines up perfectly. And there we go, now we can set these in place properly. Now, fun fact, I did screw one of these side decals up. Had to buy another kit, which I was going to anyway, because I thought the kit was fantastic when I looked at it properly. I will happily build one of these again. So one side's not going to have a decal on just yet. We have to wait till the following day, because I bought off Amazon for the decal alone. So yes, bit of a pain. But we got it sorted in the end. And in fact, look, you can see the decal's gone there. So yes, some tricky ones on the boot lid. Very, very thin trim around the boot lid. These took some extra special care to get in place. So again, just take your time. No rush. You get quite a bit of working time for decals. You just don't put the decal solution on it. You do get quite a lot of time to work with them. And there we go. With those in, we can get the 442 badge on the back as well. Get that set in place. Still using the normal decal solution from UMP. Like I say, we'll use the strong later on to make sure they're all doubly set. I'd always recommend that whatever decal solution you use to finally set them in place, hit it with the next one up just to make sure it's fully set. Now we've got some Domestos bleach. We're going to dechrome all these parts and literally watch before your eyes. This is the great thing about bleach. It either takes the chrome off instantly like this, or it'll take days. There's no in between. Never seems to be. This is gone in less than 60 seconds, I would say. If you watch it, you'll just slowly start to see it come off. This is in real time as well. There it goes. You can see it going. And there we go. There's most of it gone. Lightning fast. Dechromed. All you got to do then is rinse the parts under some clean water, dry them off, let them dry, and then reprime and repaint. Simple. Like I say, bleach is great if it works instantly or not at all. We can't get any of the purple power over here. They don't sell those products here, so we are literally left with using bleach and oven cleaner and stuff. The decals all dry. We are going to go around with our Tamiya black panel liner and put some black in all the panel lines. Accentuate those nicely. I say I'm very impressed with this red. It looks absolutely stunning. It really does. Looks beautiful. So it's a case, just load the brush up, just touch it to the panel line, let the capillary reaction take it, let it dry for 20-30 minutes, and then wipe it off with a cotton bud with some odorless mineral spirits. Is my weapon of choice from Santador. There we go. Like I say, time taken here again, well worth doing. That's about 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, get a cotton bud and start gently wiping it away. If you catch it just before it fully dries, you can generally get the wash off with no mineral spirits. If not, just put a small dab of mineral spirits on the cotton bud, wipe it over, then grab a clean piece of tissue and just gently wipe over the body, being careful of the decals. There we go. And just then wipe it off like so. Nice and simple, quick and easy. And again, I think adding the panel lines adds a lot of depth to the car. Now we've got lots of parts to cut off here. We've got all the engine components, all the suspension, interior. There's quite a lot of parts. And lately, I found the easiest way of doing it is just go through the instructions, cut all the parts off that you need, put the parts that you might not need back in the box, and sit there and clean them all up with UMP sanders in one big go. That way they can all be mounted together, primed together, painted together. It's so much quicker. It's more laborious and boring doing it this way because the cleanup just seems to drag on forever. But you're doing it in one sitting, you're painting and priming in one sitting as well. It's so much quicker and so much easier in my opinion. But like I say, lots of parts for this, lots of parts to cut off and clean up. As you can see, they're all in the background, all off the sprue. They're all the ones we need. I'm just going to start cleaning up with the interior tub with a UMP thinny stick. I'm going to use a combination of UMP thinnies and sponges to clean up these parts. The 400 yellow is probably my most favoritist thinny stick and most used. So just take your time and go around and clean all the parts up. Like I said, there's quite a lot. It is a bit of a boring job, but trust me, it's quicker doing it this way. It really is quicker. We've got a sponge now for the rounded parts, and then back to the flat thinny stick for anything else. That way you don't reprofile the shape, but you still get rid of what you're trying to sand easy enough. As you can see, once the part's clean, it goes to the right. We'll just work our way through slowly. So if you're doing this, put some music on, put a good film on. I'm using the Zoom chat or I'm live so I can chat to you lot. And it does while the hours away. Engine components, we've got the two halves together. Like so. The fit of the kit is beautiful. Really does fit together really, really well. There we go. Once we figure out which way around it goes, we get my Tamiya extra thin plastic world mix. Apply a nice bead across there. Hold it for a few seconds. And then we can test fit the gearbox. So exactly the same to the gearbox. We've assembled it and glued it together, but we're going to keep it separate so we can paint it separate. It'll make life a lot easier. And just keep referring to instructions like I have to make sure that you're gluing the right parts together. Anything that's going to be the same colour you can glue together, do it. So a lot of the engine components can go together on this. And you don't need a lot of glue at all. Just a thin bead of Tamiya extra thin will do the job sufficiently. And then we can get our cam cover on, valve cover, whatever you want to call it, on the top. And again, a little bit of glue. A yabba dabba do. There we go. One side and t'other, and then I'll hold it for a second and repeat on the other side as well. There we go. There's the most of our main engine block together. There's lots of ancillary components to do on this. Like I say, it's a very nice detailed engine. Looks really good, especially because it's going in the engine blue colour, which is going to look really, really nice. Pop our sump in place as well. Again, just a little bead of glue on each side will do the job just fine. There we go. Like I say, really nice kit this. Very impressed by it. Not my usual kind of subject, but really great looking car to be honest. So it looks great. We got our radiator on and the fan shroud in place as well. They're all mostly going to be painted black. So that's what we're going to go with on this one. And some gentle gluing, a little bit of persuasion. There you go, another part glued together. Now my replacement decal is arrived, so I'm going to get that in place. So pop it in, get the decal solutions on and get it burnished down and set in place. There we go, we're going to leave it there today and come back next time for part 2. There we go, that's where we're at today. So as you probably noticed, I've mixed up the order of the videos a little bit. We discussed this before, but we're going to discuss it again. I used to concentrate on the first part of the video being just the body. So it'd be paint, prep, prime, paint, decal, clear coat, part 1, interior part 2, running gear, final assembly part 3. I've mixed it all up now. I've changed my build process a little bit. So while paint's drying or decals are drying, I'm on to clean up a part, and we're getting through the builds quicker. The Super B last time took 8 days. This one's finished, obviously, because I've got all the footage now. And this one only took 8 days as well. She's right there. Look, oh, spoiler alert. It's a much quicker build process, and it's a bit more enjoyable as well, because I was making part 1 of the video, stopping, editing, uploading the video, then doing part 2, stopping, editing. Whereas this time, I'm just getting all the footage, and this was like 18 hours of footage, editing it all at once. All 3 videos are done, making the 4th one for ISM, and then voice over them as I go. And it's so much quicker. It really is quicker. So you get a more continuous workflow of mine about how I actually do work. And for me, it is definitely working out better. So we're leaving them in a bit of an odd place. It's like a sudden cut off. But we'll come back in part 2 and follow on from where we left off. So there we go. If you've got any comments or questions, pop them down below. Please leave a comment if you watch the video. I love hearing all your feedback. Don't forget, these videos now are Patreon only. They are literally only you guys see this. This is all a separate intro for you guys. All people on ISM, non-supporters, are going to see is that final short 20-minute, 25, 30-minute video, condensed video of all this together. So this is just for you guys. So please leave a comment down below. I do like to get your feedback on what you think of the build. And as you can see, the Porsche's there as well, which are discussed in today's Friday bench update. But yeah, so we've got 4 parts of this in the pipeline ready to go. There's a part of the Aston there ready to go. We'll get back to that and finish it soon, like I discussed today. And this one's underway as well. So plenty of content on the way. As always, thank you for your continued support. Your name should be on screen right now, flashing through. You're all absolute legends. I will thank you every single time, because it's very important for me, this. And like I say, please give me a comment, give us a thumbs up on the video, and I'll catch you all next time. Enjoy the rest of the day, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.